What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall markets. I'm also going to give you guys a very important warning about the price action that we are seeing, but just note that I am not a financial planner, so make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention an 8.1% APY. The offer ends in just 7 days. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So in my opinion, guys, I think the market is setting up for a possible pullback, and this might slow Tesla down just a bit. I don't think it means Tesla's going to crash or anything like that, but it might cause a little bit of a dip very, very soon. So I'm going to break down why I think that in just a minute. Just know that going into tomorrow, okay, there's not really much data that's too significant that's coming out. We do have the Richmond Fed manufacturing numbers, however, at 10 o'clock a.m. Might cause some volatility, but it's not that crazy. And besides that, there's not really too much data coming out. We do have some Fed speakers, however. So I think that the market is pumped quite a bit. It's doing a good job at holding up, even stocks like Tesla. And Tesla has potential to try to get to these very, very low 250s to fill this imbalance up here. But notice that every time Tesla hit this, like, or not every time, but a lot of the time when Tesla hit this, like, mid 250 area to the low 250s, we do have a lot of like shop here and some tough resistance. So in this range, I do believe that Tesla could enter this in the 250 area, and it might be a tough resistance. So we might not just break through this immediately. We need a very, very strong catalyst to do that. There might be a lot of chop up here for Tesla, maybe a little bit of a dip that could be coming once we enter that 250 to 255 area, in my personal opinion. So that's the first factor as to why I say that. Additionally, you have to remember that Tesla is pumping with the market. We're seeing the QQQ in the green, so is SPY. It's very choppy right now, but a little bit in the green. So we are still technically favoring once again, the green right now. But the issue is, and this is what I'm starting to see on the charts, I think that what's happening is we are on the verge of forming a lower high and kind of like a double top on SPY. And I think that there might be a shift down to fill this gap. So I'm not sure what the catalyst is going to be, but there might be something. And when you look at, I think I was looking at the 30 minutes time frame. I'm going to just double check this for you guys. This looks like a clear kind of like double top. So I was kind of like eyeing this as well the last time this was like panning out. I think that what's likely going to happen is we kind of continue this trend right back around these directions. It's possible that we had a high right here in the 572 area. We came down. We could be establishing a lower high here because this 570 area is very stubborn. And then I wouldn't be surprised if if we end up losing 568, I think we retest 565 close to the 200 EMA. If not 563, as we have this unfilled imbalance down here. So this could be a signal that we're about to see a little bit of a dip. We might try to push, consolidate for a bit, and start dipping as soon as tomorrow. And I think there might be a move coming back down just like that. This could be at the start of a little bit of a dip. When you look at the 4 hour on SPY, we're actually seeing something similar developing. We filled this gap all the way that's up here, so it is possible to try to get close to like 570, kind of consolidate for a bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do revisit these supports down here. I think there's a risk of that starting to form on this chart. So please be very careful, guys. I want to give you guys a heads up about that. On ES, I do want to mention that ES also has this gap all the way down here at this 5636 area. So it depends on if we could hold this support right here. The first support is 5750. That's going to be our 20 EMA. If ES loses this, it's going to be dipping, and we're going to see SPY follow the trend, and then Tesla could actually get dragged because of that. So you want to be open-minded about how the whole market moves. The market has a tendency of seeing certain tickers affect others, and it tends to move based off algorithms that have high correlations. So when SPY and the whole market dump, Tesla does have a tendency of following the trend. And when the market's holding up nicely, like today, for example, Tesla has a tendency of holding up and also being green. So when the market turns, if we do end up losing this support as soon as tomorrow or beyond, that could slow Tesla down. So I want to give you guys a heads up about that. For Nvda, this is another example. We're holding decently right now. It is possible Nvda tries to push a little higher. But like I said before, this kind of looks like a double top, and I don't think we fully filled this gap yet. So we might see a little attempt to get higher on Nvidia before we revisit these EMAs, and possibly come down to fill this gap and fully fill it in the 114 area. It could bounce again after that, but I'm just seeing potential for a small dip. Bitcoin is dipping. We're barely holding support at 63,123. That's going to be our 20 EMA. If we lose this, we're going to be dipping back down towards 62,000. and 500. So that could also dip. There is a risk of that. And once again, this could slow even stocks like Tesla down. Tesla could continue to push once again to the 250 area, if not 255, in that range up there. But then after we hit that, I wouldn't be surprised if we come back down to like 244 or so to retest this breakout area. Could even dip a little bit lower, but then overall, Tesla's still bullish, of course. The overall trend is still bullish, but there could be a little pump coming to a little higher levels like the 250s before we see a little bit of a pullback. So just want to give you guys a heads up. For Apple, let's double check this. Apple could also lead the market because Apple is showing weakness right now. We have a head and shoulders, and we have this nice rejection that has been forming. We're looking at 225 as our support, if not 223.38. I do see a risk of us dipping lower. If 225 fails us, I think we come all the way down to fill the gap in the 222s, by the way. So I see a risk of downside. With the IWM Russell 2000, we're kind of stuck right here. We're looking at 220 as our support. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip back down towards 218, close to our 50 EMA. If we hold 220, we're looking for a move back up towards 222. We'll have to see how we end up going, but there is a risk of us dipping lower if it does not hold this support. So be a little bit mindful of that. We're just barely holding support right now on the IWM. Not always the best of signs. For Coinbase, we pumped a bit only to dip back down. So I was talking about how it might revisit 169 to 167. I think we could be approaching the 167s before we try to see if it holds up. So look for a little bit more downside. Amazon's doing a good job at holding up. It actually managed to break past this resistance. I was talking about how there's going to be tough resistance in the 193 area. I think we could go a little higher. We might actually try to get closer to 196. Still looks quite bullish before this thing starts to dip. So look for the mid 190s before it starts to slow down. Overall, it still remains bullish, outperforming the markets. Looking at Meta, we did pump all the way up above 570, only to see a little bit of a dip after that. So it's at some tough resistance. Watch 568 as resistance, and the support I'm watching for is right here at this imbalance around this 562 area. So if we lose that, if we lose the support, I'm looking for 562 to 560. If that fails us, we're coming all the way down to the mid 550s. I think there's a chance Meta may dip a little bit looking at this possible rejection that has formed. So it might come down a bit later on going into tomorrow. So be mindful of that. Microsoft is barely holding its 20 EMA. If 434 fails us, we're looking for a dip back down to 430. If this holds, we're going back up to about 436. Looks kind of weak here. Could be dipping a little bit lower. Google was trying to break down and got a rejection. So notice how it rejected right here. We're looking at 163 support. If that does not hold us, we're looking for 162.5, then 160. I think that's going to come down to fill this gap. So at least 162 is coming. Once again, slowing tech down. So I do see a risk of the market dipping, guys. I'm going to be 100% honest. So please be careful. And with the whole market potentially dipping, this could slow Tesla down. We're at some tough resistance in this 250 area, not to mention 255. So be careful. We'll see how well Tesla holds up, but just know that there is a risk of this cooling off a little bit. So if you're holding longs, like I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to take profits. Not financial advice, but I'm just saying like I would basically do that if I were playing. Not saying you have to. It's just what I would do. That's the way I would kind of describe that. Anyways, that's it for the video. I want to give you guys a heads up about what I'm seeing. Thank you all for listening. So have a great day. I'll see you guys in a couple of hours for another update, and peace out.